and you're saying, no, we can give general advice. That implies that there's something societally across women that we can address generally. And I'm asking you what you think that is. I think that you and Destiny, whether you like it or not, think that women are stupid.
Okay. I see where you're going with this. Okay. Cool. So now that you made yourself clear, no, I absolutely disagree. That's not at all what myself or what I think. I don't think that that's what Destiny was implying at all.
I'm asking you, what do you think that societal thing is, if you think there is? And if there isn't, why is it not individual solutions?
Well, the societal thing at play here is probably the way that we've socialized women to think about these topics, right? The way that we've raised them from little girls to think about sex, the way that we've, sort of established the dynamic of women being the ones getting pursued and men being the pursuer. The idea that women aren't, the ones that can be the pursuer, because that's like not a womanly thing to do, probably has a huge thing to play at that. There's a number of different social factors at play here with how we treat women and what we expect of women. Yeah.
I agree with you. So how would generalized advice to women help with that?
How would generalized advice to women help with that?
Yeah.
Well, it would probably depend on the advice being given, I guess. Yeah, right?
Well, you've been giving advice that you're saying is helpful, and I'm asking, how is it helpful to the things that we're talking about?
Okay, because again, what I'm saying is that there are some women out there that don't understand that not being able to make clear your boundaries or what you are or are not okay with compromises their ability to have consent and have their consent reciprocated by the other party, right?
So you think there are women out there who know they can't handle expressing themselves in sexual relations, and they choose to engage in the sexual relations because they're fine being raped, or that increases the possibility that they'll be raped, and they assume that risk upon themselves?
I think that some women do know this about themselves and continue to put themselves in these situations. Yes.
Okay.
So do you think partaking in risky behavior and knowing it, why might that be?
Why might that be? I don't know, Kelly. You tell me.
I mean, the point is that I've made a multitude of reasons that we don't know about.
Oh, cool. So the conversation ends there. Awesome, Kelly.
No,
thanks.
it doesn't. Oh my god.
I just want to point out, none of this.
Then what the fuck are you saying, Kelly? What was the point of that?
Nothing in this conversation has anything to do with like women's accountability. Yeah. So like,
I'm not trying to make women accountable. That's not what I'm doing.
I am.
Well, if we're talking about responsibility and changes that we can make, yeah, I agree there are things that we can do that can be helpful, but there is a very unclear line between what is reasonable and unreasonable, as we have previously discussed.
Yeah.
And we've also discussed that there could be a myriad of reasons why women end up in these situations. And what me and Katie are trying to say is often that generalized advice is not very good.
Well, I disagree, because I think that there are some women that know this about themselves, that they themselves know they're not able to establish their boundaries in a healthy way or a clear way. They know this about themselves, yet they continue to go on Tinder and look for one-night stands, go to a party and get drunk looking for a hookup, and they'll do all these sorts of things that are risky, not because those behaviors are bad in and of themselves, but it's risky because they know that about themselves, that they're not able to communicate those boundaries clearly, right? For that type of person, I would say that you would be better off just dating, right? Dating would be fine. Get to know somebody before you actually try to fuck them, right? Because casually fucking is not a good idea for those people, and that's not a controversial take.
No, so if you don't think this is a prevalent issue, if you think there's a category, like a minority of women who are like that, I think that's absolutely plausible. I'm just asking then, don't you feel like saying women do X is a bit too general for the specific subset of women that you're addressing?
Well, the thing is that I never said that. I never said that all women shouldn't be having casual sex, did I? I said that women that aren't able to establish clear boundaries shouldn't be having casual sex.
In relationships too, those issues will transfer to when they're dating, and they'll be taken advantage of by the people they're dating.
Yes, Kelly, you're right. I agree, Kelly. I agree. No, I agree, but that's a different conversation, right?
How? It relates directly to this.
It does relate in the sense that we're talking about rape, but the way that these rapes happen in these two different scenarios that we're talking about is completely different. And the dynamics at play are completely different. No, it's not exactly the same. Your ability to get to know somebody that you're dating for like multiple days at a time gives you a better picture about whether or not this person's going to respect your boundaries if you actually assert them,
to get
right?
Over by them. If you trust them, you're more likely you're doomed.
Wow.
You're right, Abba.
Kelly, there's no way that you.
If you've been dating somebody for a month, that you're more likely to have an understanding of whether or not that person will rape you than somebody that you're trying to hook up on the first date.
But if we knew these things, then why would rape be higher in
Wait,
relationships?
Kelly, I just want to hear you say that.
all the women who are being raped in relationships.
I want to hear you say that, Kelly.
Wait, what? You want me to say that? But that would only make sense if the rape rates were lower in relationships. They're not.
Okay.
If they were lower, you would have made a good point.
Okay, so.
But he can't address this point.
So you're saying that it's more risky to have sex with somebody that you've been dating for multiple months than it is to have sex with somebody that you just met on Tinder.
Behavior at all. We're talking about somebody that has boundary issues would not necessarily be safer in a relationship than they would be if they were just dating at will.
So I wouldn't say
solve those boundary issues.
I wouldn't say that they necessarily wouldn't get raped, because that chance is also never going down to zero, obviously. But the chance that they're getting raped when they're in a relationship with somebody that they believe respects their boundaries or them as a person, the chance that they get raped by that person is much lower than a one-night stand.
No, it's
How
not,
can you say that?
Yes, it is, Kelly. Just
because people get raped more in relationships. The issue of the individual is they don't have good boundaries. So before they're dating or fucking or doing anything with anyone, they need to fix those issues. That's something we would agree on, right?
Sure. I have a question.
You need to go to therapy or
I got a question, Mineways. Yeah, go, Katie.
Shut up, Destiny. So we already agreed that women get raped by people that they trust. Just as much, if not more, by men that they don't trust.
Wow.
So how is you trusting a person that they would respect you decrease your odds of getting raped by them? Because clearly whether you trust them or not does not change your odds.
Yeah, clearly this person has bad judgment, so it doesn't matter if it's a relationship or a one-night stand.
True.
So you're saying because women are more statistically likely to get raped in a relationship, that is somehow counter to the idea that that person would be safer trying to hook up with somebody that they've been dating than it is to hook up with somebody in a one-night stand. That's what you're asserting.
By the way, so I have no idea.
No, I'm saying that the issues, if they have boundary issues, it will be a problem regardless of whether they're casually fucking or if they're trying to seek relationships.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I obviously would agree.
The issue is still there. The potential for rape is still there, regardless of the type of dating scenario.
Yeah, but the likelihood is much lower. No.
How?
Because they're not a complete fucking stranger. You're not doing a roll of the fucking dice on whether or not you're gonna get raped that night.
Me and Katie have so many times said that it's more likely to happen by somebody you know.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And you put yourself in a vulnerable position.
This is like a fundamental misunderstanding of statistics, right? And you're trying to weaponize it in a way because
you don't understand statistics. That is correct.
I mean, if this woman is going out and fucking somebody every single night, then you're going by probability odds.
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
So
if they're putting themselves in multiple dangerous situations over and over and over again,
when they see
that
me.
would be the case regardless if it was rape.
There is a reason.
It's not just relationships.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's people that they trust, friends, and close acquaintances.
And when you trust someone, you let your guard down.
And
if you're not trusting of people, then you're probably not going to, unless you have an issue with you that's even more problematic than the one that we're discussing. So.
Yeah, I guess you guys are right. I guess nobody should fuck anybody.
Yeah, that was our
not good.
You just can't
Wait,
be
that's
asked,
crazy.
you?
This
So you're
guy's
like,
that powerful.
No, the thing is that there's
Oh,
you
come
guys
on.
No, I'm
mentioned
really
it.
happy you said that actually.
Oh my god.
Because it exactly exemplifies what I'm talking about. You think that your advice is valid,
GG.
and if I could prove to you that it would be safer for women, your definition of safer, you'll just say don't have sex because you're so adamant on like you think you can solve this by just giving women advice. And you're the one who was whining about how not leaving your house is an unreasonable ask. But now we're just saying, well, if women are gonna get raped either way, just don't have sex, lady.
That was obviously a sarcastic remark. I don't know if you're
It was
autistic and you
very
couldn't
funny.
tell.
I am.
I don't. All right.
Does that bother you?
No, actually, it's just
Oh
it's
my
frustrating sometimes.
god.
But
I apologize.
so you
Here,
keep mentioning
kill.
the fact that women are more likely to get raped by somebody they know, but I would ask you, well, why do you think that that's the case? And I don't think that that's the case because if a woman is dating someone and they let their guard down, then that person's going to immediately rape them, right?
we didn't say that, but trust is
No.
a predictor. If you let your guard down around somebody, then you're less likely. You're not on guard, are you? So you
Yeah, but
drink around them.
but
You run
they got to
You
the
might
point
put
where
yourself in a position where they're really fucked up for some reason, and
that that
they make
person
behaviors outside of their normal range.
that person got to the point in that relationship where they could let their guard down, right? Because something about that person has told them that they're okay with letting their guard down around that person.
Yeah, and
because
who's more vulnerable? Someone who's let their guard down or has their guard up?
definitionally so, somebody with their guard up.
Someone's more
So
vulnerable
what's
with
the
their guard
prescription
up.
here, Kelly? You tell me.
Because if your guard is up, you're looking for danger. If your guard is down, you're not looking for danger, so you don't
Okay.
expect.
So are you saying that women should just always look for danger, like, or be hyper vigilant,
No,
never
many
let their
women, if you
guard
don't
down?
think you do that 24 fucking
In a
7
relationship, they should never let their guard down. Is that what you're saying, Kelly?
No, that's
We're
not
saying
what
that
I'm
giving
saying.
generalized advice is stupid. How do you not get this?
I'm
We're
saying that when
you can't give generalized advice.
when women
Oh
let
my
their
fucking
guards down,
God.
that puts them in a more vulnerable position.
Yes, and letting your guard down with somebody that you don't know puts you at a higher risk than letting your guard down with somebody that you do know and you do trust.
Yes,
this is
that
just
would
true.
make someone like very vulnerable if they were just to let their guard down around anyone. That would be a significant problem. Yes, outside of what we're
Yes.
discussing, but it would be a very significant problem if you just trust everyone.
And you say that like it's like obvious, but there are some women that don't realize that, or if they do, they don't follow that advice, right?
If you know women that do just trust everyone, that is very much an issue, and you should advise them to go seek help for that issue. Yes.
Ooh, GG.
Yeah,
Send them to therapy.
Okay. So we actually don't disagree on anything then, right?
Yes,
I think
you
I need to
give
do the
useless,
blunt.
nuanced advice to a very small subset of the population of women because you can't engage with any of the bigger points. That is what we agree on. That is absolutely
Okay, if
correct.
I don't survive this, I don't think it's doable with my tech.
Okay,
with my
sure,
current
that's
tech,
what
I don't think I can handle
if
it.
that's what you
But
think we
I
got
think
out of
we're
this
set up. We got
conversation.
walls
another
everywhere.
plush
I think
is
we're
fine,
good.
yeah.
Let's go.
Soon. I have a question though. Hi everybody.
I think I need to do the black blade.
Do you guys? This is genuine. I just, I'm like taking statistics on this stuff. Do you guys think it's worse to rape in the ass or rape in the pussy?
I just want to appreciate.
woman.
Nah. I want to appreciate. I said she's just like John Zerka, and you
Oh
guys
God!
bit my
Now
head
you
off.
come back.
And here she is a second time asking the same retarded question.
Which one feels better? I don't know. How am I supposed to answer that question?
These guys are so funny.
I don't know. Just wondering what you think.
I will say I am glad that black people don't follow these white women's advice, because black people constantly give each other advice in regards to how to stay safe with police officers, things they can mitigate themselves. And even though it doesn't save them from every kind of situation, it is extremely useful. It is culturally relevant. And so it comes down from the family and the environment, and it helps keep actually a lot of black people safe from a lot of terrible situations for law enforcement. So I do think the advice that you guys are getting and the way that the left generally engages this removes their
tough.
agency. And I think it
I
is
did get
leading
him,
to a
though.
lot of people being harmed.
That's what's
And so I think,
important.
ironically, you guys also helped.
I did get one.
Mentioned almost
That is a
everything
dub.
you just read.
We're here for
Kelly, I barely
glorious
listen to anything you say because
That's
most
it.
of it is retarded.
Don't come in here and say I haven't
Glorious
said it. You don't
fucking
know.
combat.
Okay, well, what about
Can
trans
I
women?
ask you a question?
What about trans women? They're at a higher rate of rape, yeah?
Yes, then what about people with no legs? How often do they get raped?
I'm sorry. It's not funny.
I never actually said anything about physical disabilities, by the way.
What about black trans women? How often, what's their experience?
Are you just
Are you trying to get
like,
a point here, Abbott?
I'm just doing a good impersonation of Killy.
No, you're not. That was not my point. I was trying to point out there are groups that are more vulnerable, and you need to know the issue before you can treat it.
Children are very vulnerable. What about rape for them? Why don't we talk about that?
The children are very vulnerable. They're
should.
literally a vulnerable group.
Oh shit! No, I'm editing something.
Yeah.
This is not good. At least he sees it.
So, Abba, I have a question. So you're comfortable with black people, with Destiny hosting a panel for black people to give black people advice in front of hundreds of thousands of people, right? You think black people should give other black people advice about safety from police in front of a bunch of white people and tell them that they are being irresponsible in the way that they engage police, right? You think that should be done publicly, correct?
First off, a large majority of Destiny's audience is black, so we reject that.
Engage with my point.
Secondly, I don't care who the advice comes from. As long as it's good advice, I don't really give a shit.
That wasn't my point.
That's our thing as well. We're saying the advice
Your point is, should a white person bring on black people or talk about black people?
No, that was literally not my point.
Okay, Katie, shake your head 3 more times. Go ahead, restate your point and scream louder.
Okay. Go on national television. Should black people go on national television or on
national
big...
TV? Hell yes.
Shut up. Or on Destiny, for example, and give advice. Black people give advice to other black people about how they should be more responsible with how they engage with police. They should give that advice publicly, correct?
Anybody should give that advice publicly, yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, y'all need black people to talk about shit or something?
I don't. Who do you want me to say? Okay. You think I'm gonna
Darius, what do you think about rape?
What do you think about rape?
Hey, Darius, do you think an Indian person should come online and tell Indian-looking people how to behave in public?
I wouldn't know. I'm not.
Do you think what I asked is come online? Do you think
national
what I
television?
asked is come online? That's not what I said.
Okay, Katie, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay. Well, I said that if you're using a large platform that is a public platform, i.e. a lot of people are tuning into that, should that be the platform used to tell black people they are irresponsible and are not listening to advice about how they're engaging with police?
Kate, do I look Indian for real? This nigga keeps calling me fucking Indian. I don't look Indian, bruh. I don't know what this fucking...
You know, I don't think that any of you should engage with that point. Just dodge it.
Do I look Indian?
I have a question. Do you think if Abba as a black male, if he agrees with whatever Destiny is doing, right, towards his audience, do you think that's acceptable? Like, do you think that's a good voice for the black community?
I wouldn't know. I don't really care. Does that matter for my point?
Ooh. She doesn't care about black people. That's what I heard.
She said I'm not a good spokesperson for black people. I think she's what she's trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay, Nino. I never said I was a spokesperson. I'm just one person.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
for sure. But I mean, like, you have more experience, you know, with the black community than a white person, right?
Not me.
So.
Well, I asked Abba because I'm interested in a POC's perspective. If they think a public careful. I'm sorry. Are you not black? Like, are you offended by me calling you a POC?
He prefers term BIPOC. Thank you.
Are you talking about me?
Definitely not.
No.
Put in the comments. Are you white? Are you black?
I was interested in Abba's
Are you Asian?
that
Let me
he
know.
is black, and I was interested in him being black specifically because I don't think we should use public platforms to educate women about giving them generalized advice. That doesn't mean we don't give them advice. Women give women advice
this mission
all the time.
is a
we
joke.
just don't shame each other
they're not even done
publicly
coming
on a
yet.
public
How many zombies are there? It's like 150,000.
And maybe Abba does want to be shamed publicly. I won't kink
Same
shame
mission
you.
with less tech.
I mean, hey, listen, you call it shame, I just call it accountability. I think it's a beautiful word. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's good for people to take it, whether it's public or privately. I think it's great.
I understand that you don't get my point. That's fair.
I do get your point. You just keep restating it. You keep like, should a woman, should a black person? I said, yes, a black person, Asian person, anybody should be given this advice prescriptively, publicly, on television, anywhere else. It doesn't fucking matter. If it's sound advice, it's sound advice. I don't care where it comes from.
I actually agree with you. If the advice is good, then I don't care who it's coming from. If it's from a guy, whoever, like. But what we're arguing really was that the advice is not good.
I just disagree. I think you guys are arguing that the advice is not good for majority, which is potentially possible, but it's still good for a large segment. As long as it doesn't detract from any other potential solutions that exist, I think the advice is fine. I think it's good to tell people that they need to be able to assert these boundaries.
This isn't even the same mission. Why did you
and
link me
also
this?
understand it's not advice that's going to work for everybody. Advice doesn't need to work for everyone. I could tell black folks that they may need to, comply in certain situations, understand they have a different time to, but it doesn't mean that it's going to protect them all the time. It doesn't change the fact that it's still very good advice. There's advice you can give that's not for everyone, but it's still good.
I agree that advice can be not necessarily applicable to everyone, but if it's directed at an individual, that's obviously an issue if we don't even know their personal backstory at all, and that's happened on a number of occasions. We just assume they're all fucking stupid.
Kill me.
And then there is the problem that
it's every single fucking time.
I don't think that this advice really does fit, and the problem is it simplifies a more complex issue. If it was given as advice as part of an advice, like these are potential problems, and then expanded on it, or said also you might need to look into why this keeps happening to you and things like this. If there was additional to this, it would probably be less of an issue. So I don't really care if like Destiny's being mean
Kelly,
or whatever. It's just
I think, Kelly, they think that like saying, hey, assert your boundaries is equivocal to be like telling a black person comply with police orders. And I feel like if you can acknowledge that there are certain factors that make women have a hard time asserting their boundaries, then I would say, and this would be sound super ableist, but try to go with me, like try to tell a person with like Parkinson's how to look like they're complying with police.
So you're saying women are all retarded? We treat them like retarded people? Like they have Parkinson's? Like they're all disabled?
I'm saying all women have Parkinson's.
This guy is not an equivalent tech, dude. This guy's got like mansions. What the fuck are you talking about?
We don't care about them.
Why'd you lie to me? I don't know what other upgrades he's got. This guy's floating 10,000 fucking minerals. He's got so much here.
Is it really rape if they're retarded, Kelly?
Why did you say equivalent tech or less tech? You're lying to me.
I have to say, I've been reading a lot of Masonic literature lately, and I don't see color.
Based.
Are you colorblind?
The Academy of them. Wait, what the fuck
No,
was
like
that?
skin color.
Oh yeah, this guy's got fucking stone walls and everything, dude.
Does skin color not count as a color?
You see every other color? Just
are these like
skin?
super upgraded towers too? Fuck you.
Oh, so you're specifically skin color blind.
Yes, and I think that's the best way to be.
Okay.
Brave.
Kate, I'm half black. Would you be okay with me saying nigga?
Well, she kind of has to be now, right?
Oh, he's got traps too. Who? Fuck you guys.
You just said it.
Well,
what? Why?
No,
damn it.
I don't think it's my job to police whether you choose to say the.
Well, I can say it.
You can do a lot of things. Do I think you should do it? But probably not, but
you're
could.
You're not gonna stop me though. Is what you're saying.
How would I stop you?
Actually, I have a question. Since we're on the topic of rape culture, Katie, how do you feel about Palestine?
I feel like Palestinian liberation is what we should argue for. I feel like the United States should stop funding Israel, although they're never going to because they need all the Jews to die so they can resurrect Jesus.
Whoa, that's a brain dead position. We need Israel. It's like a very strategic position, geopolitically, right?
What?
Like a very important
ally.
This
person doesn't even win this mission. Why did you link me this?
I understand that
do they
you
win
are
this
fine
mission?
with
No shot.
sustaining an apartheid
You're gonna
state
get them,
because
boys.
you need them geopolitically.
There they are.
I don't think that's ethical. But
Look,
you can
I just actually love the Jews,
you
right?
can absolutely, you can absolutely have
hate
your
them
little
like you do.
ethno state. You can absolutely have it if you don't give a fuck about other people. You can absolutely do that. Go ahead.
Who linked me this?
Cool.
Awesome.
Oh, GG. 3 against 1.
Okay.
Fight me like men. 1-on-1.
Hello?
Well, you just wait to stream.
Yeah.
Hope y'all are
dude.
happy.
Oh, cool. Okay. You guys had a lot of fun. I'm proud of you guys.
What rank are you, Destiny?
Oh shit. I gotta check my. I'm getting Grandmaster tonight. Okay.
Dude, I just picked
Here's
up
the thing,
StarCraft 3 days ago, dude.
There are systemic issues that are available in society. Okay, we all acknowledge that. Some of these are systemic forces that move against us in unseen or powerful ways. Arguably, in some cases, insurmountable ways. Some people couldn't do anything to avoid a certain situation. That's fine. When we talk to audiences, sometimes it's okay to give a piece of advice that not everybody might employ all the time, or that not everybody knows all the time, that might help them avoid situations in the future. So the question is, are there certain pieces of advice that, if given, would help some people avoid certain situations, or would that never be the case?
You say that like you don't direct it at individuals when you don't know their personal circumstances.
I don't need to know their personal circumstances.
Yeah, you do, because how do you know that advice will be useful if you don't know anything about them?
Because there are general pieces of advice that you should give to everybody. If they don't need that piece of advice, if they don't need that piece of advice, then they don't have to listen. The question is, will anybody... No, you are just a fucking retard if you think that every single thing a streamer says has to individually apply to you. That's called main character syndrome. You don't have the gravity well to act that way.
No, look at that
stop.
stance.
Listen to what I'm saying very carefully.
No, look
Listen
at
to what
that
I'm saying
stance.
very
Like,
carefully. If
oh,
I
I'm
say,
gonna
hey,
act all
don't do this
prissy
or
and
avoid
frivolous.
this,
I'm
not
gonna be the
everybody might
fucking,
need that piece of
I
advice.
don't know,
There might be some
female gaze
individuals
or
that can
whatever
use that advice.
twist.
You have
It's
done
like
it at
you're coming off as a fucking.
I'm not asking you that right now. I'm asking you right now. Is it the case?
It doesn't fit your
I'm
narrative,
asking. No, it's because this is where the conversation is right now. If you want to talk about that other part, we can talk about that later. My question is very simple. I'll repeat it as many times as I need to. Is it possible that there are some pieces of advice you can give to the broader population that some people don't know that they could implement that will lead to better outcomes?
I mean, we've been trying to discuss that, and we haven't really come up with much other than get better boundaries, forehead, which is all the advice that's ever been given. Whereas I give better advice, which is if this thing has happened to you multiple times, then you need to personally look into it to figure out what is happening.
That's not advice. You're giving a platitude. That means nothing, right?
How is that? Because they need to figure out what the fuck is wrong with them.
You need to figure something out is not advice. That's something
Lag.
you can say to literally
It was
everybody.
lag. That was not me. Cap.
Go to a doctor.
That was not me.
Go to a therapist and hit the
I can
gym.
beat this
That's
guy.
not advice
Just give me a
either.
sec.
You're not telling anybody
Give me a sec. These guys are trash.
That is so ridiculous. You're saying, how is you
These guys are trash.
hey,
I don't have enough.
if you don't know how to communicate boundaries, how about stop doing X? If you're
That's
gonna
not
say
like
that,
you give a class on how to have
Shit.
good boundaries, is it, Destiny? You just say the boundaries are bad.
if you're saying, if you're saying
Kill
women need to
myself.
have
Exactly.
more
I'm so bad.
self-awareness and realize
So
that
bad
if
at this
they're
game.
engaging in this
So bad
shitty
at
behavior,
fucking
they need
war.
to stop. Then Kelly's saying women need to have more self-awareness and figure out what's wrong with them is the exact same advice. You can't say that it's bad when the advice is like, introspect. Both of your advices are introspect, except that you take it a step farther because introspecting wouldn't make as much like discourse. And then you go, and if you suck at introspecting or you haven't done it yet, we'll stop it until you get it. But when I talked to you about the stealthing thing, we specifically said, and you said it as well, that if a woman has an issue with asserting her boundaries and she gets stealthed constantly, what she should do is go to therapy to figure that out and then start re-engaging in sex, which is basically what Kelly is saying. Taking the same advice, except that you're gesturing it in like a manly voice and blue hair, so it counts when you do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask again. Oh, sorry, you're gonna keep going. Okay. Telling somebody just introspect is not really saying anything. It's not a tip. It's not something that you can usually apply in your life. For you to say most women know all of these little tips about, which they don't, by the way, and then to replace that with most people don't know that they need to introspect and figure out their problems is absolutely fucking retarded.
What little tips?
I mean, do you want to go through some?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Here are general pieces of advice that I give. I'm pretty sure. Oh, sorry. Kelly wanted to talk more and say some random shit about going to therapy. Yeah, go to therapy, introspect, research.
It doesn't have to be therapy. It does not have to be therapy.
It could be Discord chat rooms.
Oh, on
no,
his.
if you do not go. Who the fuck said anything about that? Like, you can get good advice from professionals. If you don't want it to be a therapist.
Okay, go to a professional that's not a therapist. Yeah, these are platitudes.
Well, there are other professionals. Like, it depends what your issue is, because we don't know what this issue is.
Oh, like if your issue is that the motor's broken on your wheelchair, go to an electrician that can fix them.
I never even said anything about physical disabilities. This is all in your head. You've been the one thinking about women in the wheelchairs. That says more about you.
Well, let me know when I give some examples so we can move past the just introspect.
I wasn't the one who said that.
You literally were the one who said that.
No, Katie said that. I said If you do not know what your issue is, you need to figure it out.
That's called introspecting. What you just said
is... It might involve going to a professional because you don't know what your issue is.
What you just said is called introspecting.
No,
figure out what your problem is and maybe
go... issue is, then you go to... And that's the advice you're giving the person. The advice you're giving them is...
Okay,
if
go
you
to therapy.
No, not therapy. That's an option. And it's usually quite a good option, especially since someone who's getting raped repeatedly probably needs fucking therapy, don't they?
Wasn't that my point initially?
Then why are you laughing at it, you retard? Why are you saying it's bad?
Wait, hold on. Wait, you just said if somebody's getting raped repeatedly, maybe they need to change their behavior in order to avoid getting raped in the future. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, but they need to figure out what they're doing that's wrong. They need to know what their influences are in their life.
Okay. So like if this was a weight loss channel for a guide on weight loss, I would never we would never true, weight loss is actually weight loss is probably about as complicated, and it affects more people actually. So you were saying that on this channel you would never I like how I haven't gotten to finish a single sentence, and now Katie's coming in to do like another tag team. So if you were to say like, oh well, maybe you could consider eating less carbs, would you be on here saying like, you don't know if every single person needs to eat less carbs? I'm muting you if you don't let me finish like a single sentence. Okay.
Kind of like what
so if you were to come in and say like, oh, like try this piece of advice, and you go, well, not everybody needs that advice. Oh, well, what about this piece of advice? No, not that piece of advice. But what you're saying is that what we need to say is go to a dietitian instead. Oh, okay. How do I gain muscle? Go get a personal trainer. Oh, okay. How do I overcome like I've got some issues relating to like how I communicate? Oh, go to a therapist. Oh, okay. I'm really bad. Oh, go to a professional. Like, is that the answer to everything? Is that the only single thing we're going to say to anybody? We can't give like any actual reasonable, realistic, grounded advice for any type of issue at all. The answer can only be go to a professional.
So mad.
First of all, I love how I said you guys are saying the same thing. You said it's not true, and then you just said you're saying the same thing. So I'm just going to point that out.
Okay.
You just reinforced that there can be multiple issues to a problem, right?
I never said that there can't be multiple issues to a problem.
But the problem is the general advice. It's not only just like telling fat people don't eat eat less. Aside from the fact that fat people know that
if I were to if my advice was to say just get raped less, then I would agree with what you're saying. That's not my advice. Same thing with fat people. It's not
your advice.
No, it's not.
Oh my god. It's
Can I explain to you why it is?
You guys just they're actually saying the exact same thing as him, which is kind of maddening.
Hey, I'm advising for weight loss, right? And I don't need to be a dietitian to tell you what exercises you can do, or what type of training you can do, or what type of calorie intake you need to do, right? That's good advice that you can do without telling someone, go to a medical professional that will teach you how to do this stuff. But when you tell women, hey, if you can't engage in this, just stop having sex, that's not giving them exercise. Me and Kelly this entire time are saying, hey, let's discuss exercises women can do. Let's talk about actual advice, actual tips, actual give me deadlifting advice.
It's all it's all on a spectrum though, Katie. Like if somebody was saying, for instance, somebody's saying something,
not giving me exercises. Give me one exercise, please.
Okay,
I beg you.
I can't do that when you guys are both interrupting me. Do you want? We can go over a ton of different things if you want, right? Do you want me to do that? You're gonna cut me off again. Okay,
yes, let's
sure.
Do that.
Here's one piece of advice. Okay, don't go home with people on first dates. That's one piece of advice. Don't ever do it. Don't ever go home with somebody on a first date.
Wait, I meant exercises about expressing yourself, right? That was an issue that we were discussing.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm saying here are general tips. Okay, I'll give you a few of these. I'll give you a few. Setting boundaries is not a real that's not a real tip for somebody. Setting boundaries, that's a platitude that you say when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Set boundaries.
Your advice.
That's not my advice.
Shit.
I never said that. Set boundaries. No, we always talk about specific.
What do you think you're saying when you're saying if you can't speak up for yourself during a sexual interaction?
This guy still is just such a bitch and a half.
What do you think you're saying?
This guy,
I just let the record show that you guys wanted to ask me for things that I talk about, and you're not interested in any of them. So give me the specific examples that you want to talk about. We can talk about those. I don't know why you're asking me questions. We don't give a fuck what I have to say about this. But it's probably because you realize I do have a lot of things I can say about this, but you don't care about that. You want to focus on one example. So give me the one example that you want to focus on. I'll tell you if I agree or disagree. Go ahead.
I'm fairly sure that the discussion of boundaries is one that's happened a lot, which is why it's come up a few times in this conversation. But if
I can tell you the advice that I give for people on boundaries if you want that. Do you want to get into that?
But also, I don't think either of us.
You don't, because see, you know you're lying. You're there. You know that you're full of shit there too. Yeah, that's okay. No, you don't want to because you know I talk about all this, and you know that you're full of shit right now. But that's okay. Go ahead.
No, we can do that, or we can talk about any of the other things that
let's talk about this. Why do you keep that, or any of the other ones? We can talk about this specifically. Do you want to talk about setting boundaries? We can do that if you want.
If you would like to restate how you feel or think on these things in a more like less than just one tweet's worth of words.
I don't say just one tweet's worth. If you only engage with one tweet, that's your problem. We've had full videos where I've talked about issues that men and women have with hooking up that I've talked about a ton of different times.
Destiny, I'd love to hear exercises that you can give to women how to increase their ability to establish boundaries.
Okay, sure. Here's one thing that I've talked about a lot. You should have conversations before you even meet at all about things that you're willing to do or not willing to do sexually, because I think negotiating sexual things in the middle of a moment is very dicey. Go ahead.
I have a question. So, if you have a hard time establishing boundaries, how would you be able to have that conversation?
If you can't have that conversation beforehand, then you shouldn't be having casual sex.
That's great. Yeah. That's not an exercise you're giving me on how to make her more capable of having that conversation.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So this is what you should do. You put your hands on the keyboard and you type in I, then you push the space bar, then you say what like are you saying that I need to give
Why are you being condescending?
Because you're saying, well, what if the person can't send if the person can't send a text message? Like are we talking about mentally disabled people?
That's not sending a text message. If you're giving advice right now to women and you claim there's a large amount thereof who have an issue expressing boundaries, especially if they are physically in the presence of...
Okay, I'm muting you for a second, okay? Let me re-explain, because you're not listening to me. Neither of you are listening to what I'm saying, okay? Let me explain what the fuck I'm saying, okay? This is not controversial. It's very simple. If you're not able to negotiate a sexual boundary in the middle of a sexual interaction, then try to do it beforehand. If you can't even do it on text, if you can't even do it on text messages beforehand, then you're probably not ready for casual sex.
So like a lot of people will be able to do it beforehand. The issue is, you know, you get into these sexual situations and you aren't prepared for what the other person is going to do and move it at will, right?
Oh fuck.
So that
Are you shitting me?
Then that's another thing that we talk about. Yeah, my one piece of advice here doesn't account for every single thing that happened. That's just one thing we're talking about. Are you trying to give me one? You asked me for one silver bullet that accounts for every single interaction I'll ever have? That's just one piece of advice.
No, that's not what we're doing.
If you're on the chat, say hey. If you're not,
because it's so fucking complicated, the very basic advice comes off as rude and condescending and not very helpful.
Okay, let me go back and ask you muted. Let me go back and ask you one more time, okay? You're unmuted, okay? Do you think that this piece of advice might be something that somebody could hear and implement that they wouldn't have implemented prior to that? That there might be somebody that didn't think of that, like, oh, I thought it'd be cringy to talk about like sexual boundaries beforehand, or oh, I've never thought about having that conversation beforehand. Do you think it's possible that somebody might hear that and then do it?
I think having conversations about boundaries is good. I don't necessarily think that conversation is bad in any way at all.
You're not, okay, hold on. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to re-ask the question because I don't think you heard me. I'm sorry. Let me ask it one more time. I guess you just didn't hear what I said. What I'm asking is, do you think it's possible that I give that advice, somebody hears it, and they decide to implement that because that's not something they've heard before? Okay, I'll unmute you. Go ahead. Let's see if you can answer it this time. I don't know if you're getting lost.
Can you let me finish what I'm going to say before you're not going to mute me mid-sentence?
I don't know. Are you going to answer my question?
I will, yes.
Okay.
I do think that somebody could hear it and gain something from it, but I also think a lot of other people could hear it and then feel shit about themselves because that's not the reason why that happened to them, and a lot of people
that's not my problem.
That wasn't for them, right? That piece of advice wasn't for them.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If you hear a piece of advice that doesn't apply to you, then don't apply it to yourself. That's fine.
Then why would you tweet at?
Because what I tweeted specifically was that if you're having multiple rape encounters, then it's probably time to take a step back from casual sex. That's a piece of advice I'd apply to almost anybody.
Destiny, can I bring something up? Can you write it down and then I'll address your point and then we'll get back to it at some point. I just need to address it.
Go ahead.
That's also not what you tweeted at the Rich Campbell girl.
Is that all you want to talk? Notice, Kelly, notice how you like pivoted like 4 different times different things. First, you asked me for an example of advice I'd give. Then you wanted to focus on how to communicate or set boundaries. Now you want to focus on tweet. If you want to focus on one thing, we can. That's fine. But don't hop to a different thing every time you realize I have a good answer that you're not capable of engaging with. So if you want to talk about one particular thing, we can talk about the tweet. If you want to talk about the tweet, we can talk about the tweet. Give me exactly what you want to talk about. Stop pivoting every single time I have an answer for what you're saying.
It's not pivoting.
It is pivoting.
It's pivoting.
When you've given quite aggressive, unhelpful, direct advice at someone.
And I'm
okay. And I just asked if a piece of advice that I give could possibly be helpful, and you said yeah, but it might make some people feel bad. Okay.
No.
That is exactly what you just said.
That is also what he said.
Yes.
Okay.
But when you're tweeting at someone directly without knowing anything about them, do you think that that's helpful?
Maybe.
Did you just want to be a cunt? Because that's fine.
So for that particular person, it was like half advice, half cunt. But
so
I mean,
that's
it's a
so
public
funny.
In a public forum.
That's
like,
so
if they're
funny.
saying stupid shit,
because
I'm probably going to say something to correct the
Half
record.
and half. I feel like it was like 90% cunt.
Okay, I don't care.
Oh my god, whatever.
I
I
want
would
us
just say that you're
to later
triggered.
come back to this point of like, I'm fine now discussing that when you're making points, you're not making them for everyone. But I do think there's something a bit disingenuous about it. Like if I said, geez, men really need to stop calling women bitches, I might be talking about specific men, but you'll still be saying, hey, how about you just don't generalize about men like that? And I would like to get back to that point.
I don't think I would ever say that. Wait, hold on. I don't think I would ever say that. If you're like, men need to stop disrespecting women, I don't think I would be like, that's not true. Not all men don't disrespect women. Like, who do you think I am? What?
Okay, so you don't do the not all man thing. So when I tell men, when that girl who you tweeted at said, men stop stealthing women, you didn't have a problem with that.
I would have to see the tweet. I mean, I don't think men should be stealthing women. I would have to see the context of that tweet.
Oh,
did somebody tweet men stop stealthing women and I said like did I have a problem with that tweet?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. You should stealth.
Like, well, yeah. Was I disagreeing?
You did have a problem with that tweet.
I need to see. I need to see the tweet. Was the issue that I was saying something and they were saying like, "Oh no, we just need to tell men to stop stealthing"? Because if that's the case, I would have a problem with that tweet because that's fucking stupid. People that are stealthing are probably not going to stop stealthing because you tell them to stop stealthing.
She said, "Hey, I had this sexual encounter. This has happened to me multiple times. Men do better." And then you said, if this keeps happening to you, maybe you don't have the emotional maturity to engage in casual sex.
I think I said if you get raped multiple times, you should stop having casual sex. And then I think somebody else said you freeze up or something. And then I said if you don't have the ability to have the conversation, then you should stop having casual sex. I think it was that chain of things. Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't address my point that she said men do better.
And
if you don't mind when people do that, then I don't get what the issue is. She was talking to men who are stealthing because they're bad, right? What's the issue?
Cause I don't know, saying men stop stealthing. I don't know if that's like I just don't know what that does. And if you've gotten stealth like 4 times in a row, it seems like you need to you need a better selection criteria. Something is fucking up in your selection process.
But you need to engage with my point, right? So
wait, what did I not engage? I'm sorry. Ask me a clear question. I feel like I'm engaging with it. Ask me a clear question. I'll give you a clear answer.
Okay. How do I phrase this in a question?
Well, you can't say I'm not engaging with it. You're not even giving me a question. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm thinking how to formulate my sentence.
Okay.
Okay. So I say, hey, maybe when you give,
it's like when you're in high school,
you're giving advice to specific situations, but you're titling it as advice to women. Maybe that's not smart. And then you say, no, that's fine, because even though I'm titling it women, I actually mean this subsect of women. And then I said, if I did that to men, you would be upset. And you said, that's not true. But it is true.
If you were to make a tweet, let's say some guy tweets out, and a guy's like, the last 3 women I've been involved with have made false allegations of rape against me. And then let's say you quote tweeted that guy, and you were like, hey, if you've got a history of a ton of women making false rape accusations against you, maybe you need to stop hooking with women for a while. I would agree with that. That's pretty fucking weird.
But that's not what happened. What happened is a guy made a tweet and he said 3 women made allegations about me. Women do better.
Read the tweet.
And then you respond with,
yeah, I would say the same thing. Yeah, I'd say, what do you mean women stop making false? That's like such a malicious action. Women stop. No, wait, are you mad because I'm consistent here? I would say, yeah, you stop hooking up with women that are making false allegations. If you've got like a history of it happening, yeah.
I just want to point out the issue with why the advice is not very good is because it doesn't solve the issue. If you just stop hooking up with people for a while, it doesn't address any underlying issue.
The issue that I have is that the issue that I have is that in broader liberal culture, it seems like we champion sexual liberation a lot, and we push women or we point women towards having the freedom to make these decisions and to be involved in these sexual relationships without sometimes ever providing an off ramp to push to pump the brakes a little bit. And this hyper affirmative culture of like, oh, if you get raped, it's always the men's fault and anything else is victim and blah 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 blah, I think can put women in a weird fucking world to where they're like, okay, well, if a guy does anything, it's always his fault, and I don't think there's anything I ever have to worry about doing because that makes me feel bad, so I'm just gonna go. That's my issue. That's what I push back against.
The thing is, though, most rape victims do blame themselves to quite an extent.
Holy shit, what a great thing, Kelly, that had absolutely nothing to say with anything I just spoke about.
Yeah, but well, your argument is that women don't have enough accountability.
Come on,
right?
come on.
No,
Oh,
didn't
kill me.
say that either.
Kill me.
Accountability?
Oh,
I'm just
kill
saying
me.
there are general things that most
Go.
intelligent
That's
people
all
say,
of them.
hey,
All of them.
this is probably some advice that should be followed.
game.
That people can
Excuse me.
listen to.
Stop.
And for instance, if you're getting into
What?
bad
I
situations
am the
over and over and
fucking
over again,
Elden
it's probably
Lord.
time to disengage.
I am the Elden Lord.
But isn't
Give
that
me
about
my fucking
accountability if you're
prizes.
the one getting yourself in all these situations?
If you want to
What I
call it
get?
taking accountability
Oh,
to stop
easy,
doing
easy.
something, then fine, Kelly. Yes, take accountability.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that a lot of rape victims do already blame themselves, which is why it kind of sucks.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't like just because it sucks for some people to hear something that's slightly uncomfortable. It like isn't a reason to not like have this type of information out there. Like the thing that you're saying right now, that like, oh no, like sometimes I feel bad. Like you should feel bad a little bit. You probably did make some dumb decisions. It's okay to feel a little bit bad and do better in the future. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The problem is that we've created a society where if you ever feel bad about yourself, that means you must fucking hate yourself. That's a ridiculous position to be in. Most of the time, when something goes bad in your life, you probably made some kind of dumb decision to get there. That is true most of the time. It doesn't mean you have to hate yourself. It doesn't mean it's the worst thing in the world, but the worst thing you can do, isn't blaming yourself. The worst thing you can do is think that you're blameless and you can continue with the same exact behavior without doing anything different and expect different results in the future. That's the worst thing that you can do.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I disagree with there, because the self-blame and self-hatred perpetuates a cycle of doing the same behavior, which is indicative of a number of
I love that
things
you're just
I'm not
like
gonna even
repeating
mention.
things that you've heard before that don't respond. Did I say anything that you should have self-hatred, or did I not just give you a 20-second monologue about how you can simultaneously recognize something bad about yourself without hating yourself? Why would you respond with anything having to do with self-hatred?
I'm not saying you did. I just said that.
Oh, we're just like talking to the ether. Go for it.
Well, if you let me, anyway.
I'm just saying
Where
a
are
lot
you
of
going to
victims
brunch?
do already blame themselves, and it perpetuates the cycle of this poor behavior. And because it's, I know you don't like me saying it's more complicated than just.
No, because when you say it's thought terminating, you're not doing anything. You're not accomplishing anything by saying it's more complicated. Just because something is complicated.
I'm trying to explain why it could be and what actually good advice could be. So you could expand from stop having sex for a while by saying to seek help if you can't figure out what your issues are that is causing this repetitive
It's pretty
behavior.
clearly implied when you say that. Hey, I'm getting into a lot of car accidents. You should probably stop driving while that's happening. Does that mean you should never drive for the rest of your life? Hey, I'm getting raped a lot. You should probably stop having casual sex.
But then you can't argue it's good advice if you can't be bothered to like actually get the good bits.
If you're so retarded that you can't figure that out, then you probably should never have sex ever, because
you
need a guardian of the state.
Are retarded.
Okay, then these people just need, they need their awards of the state. They need to get caretakers full time. They probably should have their parents present if they ever have a sexual interaction. They're too stupid to figure out anything else.
Like, but if they're socially stupid in one way, wouldn't you think that potentially they are stupid in other ways, and therefore they might?
No, I don't think so. I think that right now our social signaling about things related to rape and victim blaming is really dog shit. That's what I think.
I want more of these conversations because I think that they're really good. But the issue is that not that I think, like, I don't even mind if you give advice in a cunty way. Like, it has nothing to do with you being nicer. It's more my issue is I just don't think the advice is very good or elaborated.
No, but
it's
you
not that you
haven't.
don't think the advice is good. It's that you don't think the advice applies to every single person, and it might hurt some people's feelings. That was your.
Thank you.
I just
Thank
said that
you.
It wasn't expanded on enough. Saying to somebody who's being raped multiple times just to stop having casual sex.
No, but that's not true though, Kelly.
Wait, hold on. Do you agree that if a personal interaction, if a friend told me that, do you think if I said that to a friend that would be bad advice?
I think it's not finished advice. It needs more words. Like if you cared about someone and that's all you said to them, do you think that they would take that well?
We'd probably have a further conversation, but like how far do I?
That's what I'm saying. You need to do that.
No, this is fucking retarded.
Can you correct me?
No.
Correct
Hold on.
me?
Everybody's pretending like these conversations didn't happen.
Stop. Hold on. This is fucking retarded because I didn't follow that endpoint advice. Like, what if I said, listen, you need to stop engaging in casual sex and figure out what's wrong? Would you say, figure out what's wrong? You didn't give full advice. Okay, I'm sorry. You need to stop having casual sex and figure out what's wrong by booking an appointment with a therapist. Booking an appointment with a therapist? What kind of therapist? Sorry, you need to get like a sex or a rape counselor or something. Oh, you need to book a session? Well, what kind of websites do you go to? Like, where the fuck does that stop? Like, I don't have 5 million characters on a tweet to list you from point A to point Z on every single step you should take to fix your life. Step 1 is stop having casual sex if you're getting raped over and over again. That's step 1. And then from there, figure it out. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have a tweet, like a novel to type for every single fucking person or every single thing that comes up. It's pretty obvious what's going on after that, though. It's not stop having casual sex forever. Is that how you read that?
The point is that I don't read it like that, but the point is that there wasn't any real advice in the very little that you gave. You
that
can
is
say,
advice.
"Oh, people,
Stop having casual sex."
You're like assuming people extrapolate a whole bunch of information that you never.
It's not a whole bunch. It's stop having casual sex and figure out what's going on. That's pretty.
Yeah, but you didn't say and figure out what's going on.
Because I don't have enough space in the tweet, but that's really obvious. That's hyper implied.
You can make a second one.
It's no, I'm sorry, but if you're that fucking retarded, you should like sew your fucking vagina up and never let anything in it ever again. I'm sorry, but like you're on levels of fucking retardation that are unfathomable at that point.
Can you correct me if I'm wrong? I don't even know what you guys are talking about, but from what I've been listening to, it sounds like Steven was just giving like the first step. Like the first step to their issue, right? If you're getting raped repeatedly, right? The first step would be stop having casual sex.
Yeah, but unfortunately, only having that one step doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, but he's not responsible.
Nothing is solved at all.
He's not responsible for every person who's getting
well, then
repeatedly.
don't give advice in the first place.
Okay, don't give advice unless you give like.
No, because this was just how the discourse started, right? There was an entire discourse surrounding this for like weeks, honestly. To say that none of this was expanded on, that none of the nuances that you were talking about were covered, this is just not true. There was a whole conversation about everything that you wanted there to be a conversation about.
He becomes a lot more reasonable when he talks more. Yes, we know.
Ooh, easy.
So you're just mad that one tweet didn't specify every
oh
single
my
possibility
God, it just got
and it
so
wasn't
lost.
applicable to every single woman.
It should have been a twit longer. It should have been a twit longer.
I have two advice here. Okay, first of all, do not rape. All right, this is my first advice. You're welcome. And second advice is, if you want to be more intelligent, did you know that intelligence can be transferred through sex?
Okay, Nina is muted. Okay.
Cool. Anyway, I just think it's disingenuous to bring
my
it as
point,
advice because
please.
it's not very good advice. It's just an excuse to be a cunt. I think we all know this. But being a cunt is valid. I am not against being a cunt.
But you never really
like when it
say
seems bad faith.
But you never really make it clear why you have an issue with that piece of advice, other than it's just not sufficient. Like, that's not really an argument against that piece of advice.
Does it? It doesn't fix the issue unless
no,
they
it does.
never
It's a prescription and one that should be followed.
No, you need more steps to it. You can't just
telling
say,
somebody to just go to therapy isn't fixing anything either, right?
I never said that as an indirect. Like I said a lot more than that.
Telling somebody to introspect and go to therapy is not like, or figure out what the problem is not. It also doesn't help everything. Like there's a million things you could type. That's step one.
Yeah, but step one is nothing.
Step one is if you've been raped. You know what? If you've been raped 3 times, that means you were raped 2 times. You didn't stop. So the third time is another mistake.
Step is the first step. Like I don't know.
But that's not a solution, and you know it.
It's not a full. No, it's not a full solution. I didn't have the final solution to fucking rape in 180 characters.
Why do you speak?
I don't have because we don't talk in full solutions to every single problem in the world. That's ridiculous.
No, what we do is we talk to the individuals, figure out what their fucking issues are, and then try to go from there.
We don't talk to. It wasn't just an individual. It was a woman that was tweeting advice to the world. It was a woman that was speaking to some extent in some types of generalities to the world. It's on Twitter. It's a public platform. She wasn't posting this on her private Facebook page or in a private Twitter group or in a Snapchat group. She was posting it to the fucking world.
I'm happy you're saying that she gave it. No, please, Kelly, I beg of you. Please, I beg of you. Thank you. She was giving generalities to the world, correct, Destiny?
Yeah.
Do you have an issue with that? Do you think that's bad?
My impression was she was making it sound like you can't stop people from raping you. That even if you say no, they're still gonna do it.
Who was making that?
The lady that did those tweets. The lady that did those tweets.
I know you just engaged with Kelly. I disavow most of that. That is not my position.
Hold on. Listen to the words that I'm saying. I'm not saying Kelly said that. I'm saying the woman that tweeted that was giving the impression that even if you tell a guy.
Destiny.
She's definitely not listening, by the way.
Even if you tell a guy no, he's gonna keep raping you.
Okay, the original tweet that you admitted you don't even fucking remember was a girl saying, "I've been stealth. This happened to me multiple times. Men do better." Do you have an issue with her making that general prescription?
With that hyper particular tweet, probably not.
Okay, so
then why did you respond?
Kelly, I don't even think you have any idea what any of the tweets are even about at this point. Really? What was the original tweet that I responded to?
It was about the well, which one of the two the most?
No, I'm asking you a question. What was the
original
tweet that I
responded to?
The original tweet?
I don't even know if that's the one I responded to. I don't even know if I originally responded to her. I don't know if anyone in this conversation even knows it. I'm pretty sure.
Mindwave.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, I apologize. Mindwave. Do you think no, because he has a fair point. So Mindwave, do you think that if a lady goes on Twitter and says, I've been stealth, this guy is a jerk. I've been stealth multiple times. Men do better. Do you have an issue with that generalization about men?
Okay, here, hold on. Before we do this, no, stop. Before we do this, let's have the actual fucking tweets. No, let's have the actual tweets instead of like this weird fucking autism conversation we're having about like hypothetical tweets. Here was the original tweet that she made. She said, or I think this was the original. She said, a dude slipped his condom off during sex after I asked him to wear one this week, and it's been bothering me, but I was too awkward to say anything. Not even the first time this has happened. Stop doing this, men. So the one way to read this, and it seems like she clarified a different way to read this later, but it sounded like he took the condom off during sex and she noticed, but it was too awkward for her to say anything. So Mindwaves quote tweeted this, and he said, if you knew he took the condom off and you couldn't even bring yourself to say anything, you shouldn't be having casual sex. This is what I retweeted. I agree with this statement. Yes.
How can it be stalking if you know it's going to happen?
That is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Please, Kelly, I beg of you. Just Mindwave or Destiny. Does it bother you that she told men to do better?
Yes, it bothers me.
Oh, I don't think it bothers me that much. No, I don't think so. If somebody like tweeted out like, "Oh, well, you asked both of us." Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
Well, okay, in the sense that like I think that it's just bad advice, right? I'm not expecting this person to really be the like one to like give good advice necessarily, but like, it doesn't really. It's not a good prescription. It's meaningless, right?
So would you say saying men do better is bad advice?
I just don't think it does anything. No.
Okay, that's a different answer than what I would give. Okay, I don't care that much. If a woman tweets out some shit like a guy fucking stealthed me again, it's so fucking irritating. Men, stop fucking doing this. I don't know if I'd have a problem with that tweet.
Cool. Then I
wait. I want to make clear. Do you actually have any problem with what I actually said in the tweet though?
Me?
Yeah. Is that prescription like bad?
You know how you said that saying men do better is useless advice? Yeah, I think your advice was useless.
Okay, so the reason I think that saying men do better is bad advice is because it's meaningless, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything to the person that's hearing it because that's not a set of instructions. You're not laying out anything, right?
Yeah.
Mine was a very specific piece of advice with a very clear prescription. So
Can I ask you
what problem do you have with it?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't solve anything.
No, it does actually. That's going to be my question.
Well, if they never have sex again, I guess.
Exactly. So my question is, what is the exact problem you're trying to solve? Are you trying to stop this woman from getting raped? Or are you trying to have her be able to engage in sex without being raped?
I would like for her to be able to... Wait, what was the first one you said?
Would you like her to just not be raped?
Well, obviously, yeah. Right?
Okay, but...
And I would also... I'm not trying to say that she shouldn't have sex. I want to make that clear. Because this is something that's like projected on my argument all the time. The argument was you shouldn't be having casual sex, as in you shouldn't be hooking up with people, going on one night stands and stuff like with people you don't trust, right? That's much different than like saying you can't have sex with somebody that you do trust or that you've like known for.
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. So, okay, so I think that your advice is not useless if all you're trying to advise is how women will never get raped. Because it's true that if you stop having sex, you are very much decreasing the possibility that you'll be raped. That is good advice. If all we care about is decreasing the rate of rape significantly...
Well, no, that's not good advice.
Let me make my point.
Well, that's just not true. Saying that you just...
Let me make my point!
Okay, go for it, but you're wrong.
Okay. I am not wrong by saying that if women don't engage sexually with men, there will be a decrease in the rape percentages. I am not wrong about that, okay?
No, you're wrong that that's good advice. It's not.
Okay. So, if all you you care is about the decrease in the percentage, it's good advice. But we don't.
That's not all I care about.
Shut up!
Nobody here ever said that that's all they care about. You're arguing with like.
Just let her frame the whole thing up, and then if it's wrong, chime in.
If all you care is about decreasing rape percentages, then women not having sex is a good advice.
These people are driving me insane.
So eloquently demonstrated multiple times, that is not the only thing we care about. Yep. We want women to be able to engage sexually while not being raped. In that instance, your advice is useless because it doesn't guide women how to not get raped while having sex. It just guides them not to have sex.
No, actually, you're wrong. So again, I'm gonna make this clear that I just said this before. Oh my God. I didn't say not have sex. I said stop having casual sex. Okay, and if you're gonna say that that's not
okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
There's no difference there. I mean, I don't know. I can explain the difference for you if you want.
No, I'm really stupid. I don't think you explaining it to me would work. So
okay.
Let me know what you need. Right? Let me correct my argument. So you.
Oh, he's so fucking violent.
That we want women to be able to engage sexually but not be raped, and you falsely assumed that it is more prevalent for them to be raped because of casual sex. So you said casual sex is the problem.
Is that what I said in my tweet? Or were you
I will finish my point, thank you. So, so you said don't engage in casual sex because casual sex is the thing that gets you raped, right?
Yep.
Cool. That's dumb advice because it only stops women from having casual sex. It doesn't stop women who have issues expressing themselves from being raped.
Okay, so you're saying that my advice was okay. You don't actually have any issue with the advice that I gave, the prescription that I actually gave. You're just upset that my one single tweet wasn't sufficient in giving somebody, you know, the full life advice that they need to be able to completely reform their maladaptive behaviors.
I know that you want to use what Destiny said because that way you don't have to engage with what I'm saying. I understand.
Well, no, it's because you didn't engage with him when he said it either.
Well, I wasn't allowed to speak. He and Kelly were talking, and I was trying to interject, and it just wasn't happening.
And it's not. This has been brought up multiple times. You guys don't want to actually engage with what was said. You're just mad that what it didn't say.
No.
May I give this a shot?
Okay. I just like Zonia. Do you mind if I just quickly make my argument to Destiny, just so I can be done with it? Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, we're gonna talk again. Oh, I thought you were talking to everyone else here. Sorry, go ahead.
Are you upset?
I'm not upset at all. I'm milking you guys for content right now. I'm on the fucking Destiny farm. I've got your guys' udders all between my hands right now. Go ahead.
No one is asking you to solve rape in 180 characters, by the way. We're just saying.
Oh no, you wanted it done in 360, Kelly. You said do a second tweet. That's cool. Thanks.
No one's
Thanks,
asking
babe.
you to do that at all.
Thanks, honey.
But if you can't give good advice, why then?
True. If you can't do it in 180 characters, don't do it at all.
I just don't be disingenuous and say something's good advice when it's at best incomplete.
I agree.
It's always going to be incomplete. Any piece of advice, any single piece of advice is always going to be incomplete. This is such a ridiculous
When I went to build my computer,
like...
I was on a phone call with this guy that was helping because I didn't know how to put it together. The first one I was putting it together, and they were like, okay, well, you need to open the box. And I'm like, and I hung up on immediately. It's like, open the box? That doesn't assemble the fucking computer for me. What a fucking moron. Holy shit.
I agree he's a moron.
True.
If only we could draw a parallel there. Can I... Okay. So... I asked Mindwaves, and Mindwaves was bothered by the generalization of, like, men do better, Destiny. And you're saying, I am not. If you want to go men do better, I don't care. So, are you never bothered by generalizations? So, if I said, I was in an abusive relationship and my partner abused me, so I think men should stop abusing women. You don't have an issue with that. You think that's sound advice. That's good advice.
It's not okay. It's not that I think it's good advice or sound advice. It's that one comes off like they're just kind of like venting, although it's in public, which is dumb. versus the other sounds like you're trying to like give some kind of like legitimate advice or criticism. Like if somebody's like, listen, I need you guys to know men need to stop raping. I'd be like, that's fucking retarded. But if somebody's like, I just got raped last night, it's fucking horrible. Men need to stop raping. It's like, okay, it's kind of I think I would interpret this slightly differently.
Okay, so I understand what you said, but I missed how it addresses my point. So can you explain to me again how it specifically interacts with what I was saying?
Okay, I'm sorry. Restate it one more time. I feel like I responded to what you said, but I must have missed it. Sorry, try one more time.
Okay. So I'm saying if I said my husband used to abuse me, so men should stop abusing women.
It sounds to me like it's just like a vent about a particular situation.
Okay. So I feel like I'm giving advice to men that men shouldn't abuse women.
I don't read that as advice. That's not what I think of.
Okay, I understand that. Okay. But when I then say, hey, this is useful advice, why are you dismissing my advice? I'm just telling men not to abuse women. This is salient critique right here. This is good advice. Why do you think that's not the case? Because it is true that if men stopped abusing women, then men wouldn't abuse women. Wouldn't that solve the abuse of women?
Because it's tautological in nature. No, so you're saying men stop abuse. Abuse is defined as something wrong or bad. Stop is a moral imperative. Bad things we shouldn't do. So any statement where it's like subject, verb, and then bad thing that we all agree is ethically bad is probably not like men stop stealing, men stop raping, men stop abusing. Men, like that's going to be true.
Women stop having sex.
No, having sex is not a bad thing to do. That's not tautological. Stop having sex is in some ways a counterintuitive thing. Apparently to this woman who got raped 3 or 4 fucking times before she realized she needed to pump the brakes. Stop having sex if something's going wrong. That's not tautological because having sex is not a bad thing. If I would have tweeted stop getting raped, well, that would be tautological.
But she was being raped and you admit that that's rape. So you weren't saying stop being raped, right?
No, stop getting raped. It was like tautological. It was here's how to stop getting raped. Stop having casual sex for number 1. If you've gotten raped 3 times in a row.
Okay, so you see a distinction there between stop getting raped and between if you're getting raped, stop having sex.
Yes.
Okay. I understand your perspective more now. Zonia, you can do your thing.
So I feel like you guys almost connected on something a while ago, probably back about an hour ago. But so the main thing that's sort of inspiring this from, I would say, Katie and Kelly's perspectives is that what you put out there is stuff that women hear all the time, right? And so it's just like, oh great, we get to hear the same old shit that should be obvious to everybody. And then mind waves, like your position is that, well, I'm responding to this specific situation. I've only got so much of a character limit to work with, and Stephen, you're saying that as well. And so this is what I've got to work with. So I'm addressing this specific situation and I'm putting it out there. And so I feel like you both almost kind of connected on something, which is basically that there's not a lot of utility in what you did put out there. But I think what you said earlier, Katie, you were talking about how, well, it's fine if you just want to make sort of these statements, even if they're not very helpful, but it shouldn't stop there. You should be able to say more and kind of build on that and move in a direction that's better, more adequate advice.
But they hear it as
right?
like, so you want me to lead them all the way through. And I think what we're talking past each other is that, like, I feel like me and Kelly are saying, as I said to Mindwaves, like, if we're giving advice about how to decrease the percentages of rape, then stopping casual sex and stopping all sex would really help with that. What we want, what I think Destiny and Mindwaves want...
To be clear, I've never said that, but just go ahead.
I didn't say that you said that.
Okay, I know, but you're implying it, so I just wanted to address the implication.
No, I'm not.
Okay, it feels like in my feelings, it felt like you were implying it, so I just wanted to address my feelings.
Okay, well,
okay, sorry.
If that's how you feel, If that's how you feel, then I'm sorry that you feel that way, and I'll try to speak.
You don't have to be sorry. I was just addressing the mini elephant in the room. Go ahead.
Okay. So you were in the bathroom, but I was talking to Mindwaves, and maybe you disagree. I feel like the advice that you're trying to give is how to help women be able to engage in casual sex in a way that is healthy and not destructive to them. I feel like I've heard you say that in the past. Awesome. Destiny, do you agree?
I'm sorry, restate that quickly.
Are you trying to give advice to make it to maximize the positive outcome of women engaging in casual
Yeah, I think
sex?
in general in my stream I am, yeah. I don't know if I can do that in a 180 character tweet, but
that's great. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that your advice actually wasn't about maximizing the positive outcomes of casual sex. It's just about, well, I don't know how to give advice to maximize positive results. So the first thing you should do is stop engaging in this activity. Which again, if
that is advice. If you've had an issue where you're having a bad outcome multiple times,
it is not advice for the goal that you're claiming to have.
It is the first part of that.
It's a stop
It's the
gap,
first step.
right? It's a stopgap kind of thing.
Yes, tell the alcoholic to stop drinking.
But
that is
this kind of goes
literally
back
step
to what
one
Katie
of
is saying.
fucking not drinking is stop drinking. Yeah, yes, Kelly,
But
that's true.
It's not a solution, is it?
That's true. And 12 steps starts at step 1. We don't have 12 steps for every fucking tweet that we have, okay?
Step one without the other
steps. Do you have any of the other steps?
What?
Destiny, give me the next step. Do you have the next step? Do you know what the next step is? Or are you just interested in saying the first step? Do you have 12 steps?
Sure. Just to be clear, I know that you're being very exasperated now and it's nice and performative, but I've offered to talk about literally any part of this at any time, and every time I start to, I think you both realize, oh, he does have a lot more to say, and then you pivot to something else. If you want to talk through that entire thing, then we can if you want to, if you'd like to do that. But
yes, I'd love to do that. Let's do that.
Okay. If you're having casual sex and you find that you're getting raped multiple times, first step you need to do is disengage, okay? That's number 1. The second thing you need to do is probably figure out, well, what kind of rapes are happening? Are they stealthing rapes? Is it like fucking violent rape? Is it you're getting too intoxicated kind of rape? If that's the case, let's say it's the latter. You're getting too drunk. Then the solutions are going to be multivariate at that point. It might be 1, stop drinking. If you find that every single time you go out, you're getting wasted every fucking weekend, that's not healthy for anybody. Don't do that. If it's 2, you find that once you get a little tipsy, you've got a hard time controlling yourself, bring a friend with you to limit the amount of drinks that you get. If it's 3, if you're constantly in areas where men are really sexually aggressive and you're not looking for that type of activity, maybe go out and bring a guy friend with you who's not sexually interested in you, or multiple girlfriends. Let's say that it wasn't the alcohol thing. Let's say that the issue you're running into was a guy stealthing. You find that a guy's pulling a condom off in the middle of sexual interactions. If it's literally that specific that you're running into it, firstly, if you're running into that multiple times, that's pretty insane that you're selecting for that person. But 1, have a conversation beforehand about it. If you're not having a conversation beforehand, that's something you do need to have, that you don't want to have sex without a condom. Number 2, might seem extreme, but only ride a guy.
You're not emotionally mature enough to have that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to come in. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a million pieces of advice I can give it. I was gonna say number 2, only ride the guy. Don't ever let a guy fuck you from behind ever. Only do missionary. Always make sure you can play it off sexually. Oh, I want to guide you in. Reach down, grab his dick before he goes inside of you. Do that every single time to make sure he's always got the condom on. It can be rule number 3 is sometimes when people start getting hot and heavy, when they start making out and petting each other, sometimes people jump to sex without getting condoms on. Make sure before you even touch a guy, you've got the condom on you so that you're ready to put it on if things are heating up. Yeah, I don't know. Where else? Where else do you want to go? Yeah, go for it.
So, would you be comfortable saying that, like, if a woman knows that she has a hard time asserting boundaries during sex, and casual sex specifically, would you say it's a viable, good advice for her? Hey, just ride him.
If a woman is having communication issues, just ride him.
A woman is aware that she has issues properly asserting boundaries during sexual intercourse, but she's worried about being stealth. Is it a good advice to then tell her, well, if you're worried about being able to assert your boundaries, and you're worried about being stealth, just ride him?
No, probably not. I would say if you're having trouble asserting boundaries, I think you should probably stay away and figure out what is the reason why you're having trouble asserting boundaries.
Okay, and what I keep trying to ask you is when you're saying, hey, I'm giving you a 12, like I'm saying you're giving me the first part of a 12 step program, but you don't have any of the other steps. So I'm asking you, do you have actual advice to give women?
I literally just gave you a ton more, but the problem is I don't know what her.
Let me finish. I
can't. Yeah, shut up, dude. I'm the same as Devin. I'm the same as Destiny. I'm like losing my mind.
Asserting boundaries.
Yeah, I can, but I don't know if that was her issue. I don't know if her issue was asserting boundaries. Maybe her issue.
You were claiming it's her issue.
I don't think I was. I think I was saying my. Hold on. If this
no,
is
no,
what
it was part of it.
I'm muting you if you shut the fuck up. Let me handle this conversation. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Just let me do this. Okay. My issue was that in her particular tweet, she made it sound like she felt like it was too awkward to say something, and my response was, "Is if you can't even say anything, then you shouldn't be having casual sex." That was my issue.
Okay, that's excellent. If that's your issue, do you have any advice for that woman on how to become better at that?
It's going to depend on why she can't say something. I don't know why.
Really? It's going to depend on why she can't say something.
Yeah.
Kelly, is that what we've been saying this entire time?
That's definitely what I said, and I got memed on.
You got memed on because you have literally less IQ than the fucking 2-liter Coke bottle that Katie is hovering down over there, okay? But that's why I didn't give more specific advice past that point. I wasn't sure what the problem was. But I do know a couple things. One is if you're getting raped multiple times, you need to pump the brakes. And two, if you can't even verbally assert a boundary, you also need to pump the brakes. Those are two things that I do know. But I'm not going to give more specific advice past that. I don't know what the fuck her problem is.
Yeah, so the general critique
Oh my god, I hate these people. These
I
people are so
completely agree with
maddening,
what you
and
just
I
said.
hate
The entire
everything.
critique me and Kelly are saying, this is the only advice you can give because you don't have further insight into this. And because this is the only advice you can give, it is in poor taste, it comes out as victim blaming, and it's not actually helpful to her.
I don't know if
that is the critique.
Okay, I'm having trouble thinking of multiple scenarios where you would continue to engage sexually and continue to get raped over and over and over again. Number one, again, we can go through my particular tweets, but I believe that my issue and where the retarded woman came from afterwards was she made an implication saying that you can't tell men no. You can't actually assert
I'm losing my mind.
Because if you do, they're just going to rape you harder.
Can I give you my interpretation?
No, actually, first, let's just read the actual tweet, okay? So one of the things that I said was, so somebody said they were upset because she tried or something, or I don't know. And my response to that, I don't know what I'm responding to, but my response to that was, she literally said it felt awkward to watch a guy stealth her. Just voice an opinion. Have a little bit of agency over your life. You don't have to be a victim all the time, and you sure as fuck can't expect to be treated like an adult if you won't act like one. Then she responded to that and she said, dude, I've been actually raped, and saying no just made him rape me harder. I noticed what had happened after he pulled out. It's not incomprehensible that I would rather just want to walk away from that situation and start a confrontation. So two things happen here. In the first part here, she says something that's incredibly fucking stupid, and in the second part here, she provides more information that changes the context of the first tweet.
Okay. Can you now?
What I get from that, what she said.
No, wait, hold on. Wait. Let Katie. We went back and forth for like 12 hours earlier. Let Katie finish her thing. Go.
Okay. So, what was the stupid thing that she said in her first tweet?
The implication that if you tell somebody no, they're just going to rape you harder when this is ballooned out into like a general advice thing seems like kind of dumb to say.
That's not advice, that's her experience.
That's great, but when you're speaking in a public platform, it comes off as advice.
No, it doesn't to me.
It does to literally everybody, you included. If somebody's like, oh, Destiny, like, how do you think you should be successful? And I'm like, I dropped out of school. I'm not fucking retarded, and I know that sounds like I'm saying you should drop out of school. That's what that means to every human being that's listening to the conversation. Everybody hears it that way.
So this is why I asked if you want my interpretation.
I want to fucking die.
If I'm trying to understand why a woman is having a hard time asserting herself during sexual acts and she's claiming that it might have felt awkward or whatever, and then she tells me, I was raped, and when I told the person no, they raped me harder, then I'm getting context here that might affect her ability to be able to say no in the future. I don't think that's giving. I don't think